can work. So, hey, how's everybody? I am recording this live on a Sunday in April. It is beautiful and a little drizzly outside here in Austin, which is great. But I felt like flowing and moving a little bit, and I thought I would just bring you along with me. How do you feel about that? So, this is a very basic yoga flow. You can use it however you want to and come back to this later and flow a little bit, or you can just hang out with me and breathe for a little while if you want to. Just a nice, easy Sunday movement with some intention and getting the blood flowing through all the muscles and everything. Okay, so all I have with me is my mat. I have a couple of blocks because there might be a couple of moments where I need to lengthen my arm. And when I need to lengthen my arm, I use blocks to do that, give me a little extra, and that's it. Also, if you work with me because of a core issue, core stability, all that kind of stuff, just know that once I warm up, I will be using full plank. If you are not at a position in your personal recovery where you are doing full planks yet, I need you to put at least one knee down. So if you're not familiar with my work, go back and do some of my other classes where I progress you from the beginning. If you have a core issue, that we start with a knee down and we progress until we can do a full plank. Don't just pop yourself into plank. That is not going to be very effective. We'll just put it that way. Okay. So I want you to just sort of find your space, turn some music on. You know, when I do yoga on my own, I like to listen to music that has a flow, slow, chill beat to it, not just the Zen music. So maybe find something with a nice, cool, chill beat to it. It can kind of help get you into the mode of flowing. This is going to be the top of my mat today, and this is going to be the bottom of my mat today. So I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to turn towards the top. I'm going to find my best posture and alignment. So when I do that, I put all four corners of my feet down. I press down through the lower spine so that I'm dropping the tailbone toward the earth. I'm lifting the crown of the head up toward the sky. So it's a constant dual action of top to bottom pulling. I'm rolling the shoulders down and back so my shoulder blades are flat down my back and shoulder blades are sort of yearning towards my hip pockets. And I'm going to practice a little breath here. If you're new to me and you haven't breathed with me before, just take your hands to the lowest part of your ribs, thumbs to the back, fingers to the front. Between the two lowest ribs you can find, breathe into your thumbs. An expansion all the way around the body without jutting your chest forward. So ribs stay over hips, breathing into your thumbs. And then we're going to keep a level of core engagement throughout this practice today. That means that you have zipped up a pair of leggings that are one size too tight all the way up to your sternum, just drawing that navel, yearning it up towards your heart, which also helps with that core stability, helps with the alignment, and helps get the breath back into your diaphragm, which is under your lungs. Breathing into your thumbs here and exhale. If you're new to that form of breath, go to some of my videos on breathing and or meditation to help you with that. Open the palms to the front. We're in a nice mountain pose here for just another breath. And then we're going to raise the hands up and overhead. Breathe. Just nice and long through the arms. Exhale, circle the hands around, hands to your heart. Breathe and reach the hands up, shoulders down. Exhale around, hands to heart. Breathe and reach the hands up. Press the shoulder blades down. Lots of space for the neck. Exhale down and around. We're going to add a little vinyasa flow here. So breathe and reach up. Exhale, fold all the way down, drawing the navel in and up. You can curve at the spine, but make sure that you're yearning that navel up towards the heart. Then take an extra breath in here as you flatten out the back. Send the crown of your head forward. Exhale, draw the navel up and in, allowing the head to drop down, lengthening the spine. Inhale to lengthen outward and flatten. Exhale to round. Fold over the legs. One more time like that. Breathe in. Think long and flat through the spine, long through the neck. Exhale Ebb around the spine, but yearning the navel up towards the heart. Then soften the knees. Get your hands flat on the ground, and then put your knees down. So we're going to warm up upper body a little bit here. Down to hands and knees. Elbow creases are toward the front. Roll the shoulders down, back, and away from the ears. Lots of space for the neck. Hands are under the shoulders. Breathe in as you bend the elbows right by your ribs. Exhale to press away from the mat. Breathe in as you bend the elbows towards your ribs. Exhale up. So we've got elbow creases to the front. Elbows are going towards your hips, and shoulders are staying in place. So you don't want to lose that shoulder girdle. We're actually warming up the shoulders and the triceps. One more time. Exhale, and then I'm going to have you flatten the tops of your feet, sit on your heels, open your knees a little bit, and we're down into child's pose. Reach those hands way out. Try to get the shoulders closer to the floor. Still keeping the navel away from the thighs, but getting the hips toward the heels. And then exhale as you tuck the toes back under and ease yourself up into your first downward facing dog of the day. Now, in your first downward facing dog, you want to really focus on a long spine. So I want to get the sits bones way up. The head is in between the arms. Easing the weight back onto your heels. Nice and easy. We don't force it down. We don't force the legs to be straight. We're trying more to get a straight spine and hips high. And then slowly sort of pedal the feet out. Take a couple of nice, easy breaths. Don't forget to breathe. And then ease both heels down closer to the mat. Take a breath, and as you exhale, you're going to step your feet all the way up to your hands, keeping your knees slightly bent. We're going to stand all the way up. Breathe in and reach up. Exhale, fold all the way down by your legs. If up and down is a struggle for you today because of allergies or lightheadedness or whatever, I want you to go a little slower than I am. Inhale, go into a flat back. Press out through the crown of your head and back through your hips. Then exhale and soften the knees as the hands come back down to the mat. We're going to put the knees down. If you want to, you can bring the knees back further away. If you're in this half plank position, make sure that you have tucked the belly button up and in, nice and long through the spine. And we're going back into those little mini push-ups. Breathe in as you come down. Exhale, press up. Breathe in as you come down. Exhale, press up. Keep the shoulders down, back, and away from your ears. And let's do one more, and we'll go straight into your child's pose here. Press back, sit onto your heels. Open the knees slightly. Head comes down. Open those shoulders down towards the mat. Nice and big through those arms, long through the spine, hips here and back. Exhale to tuck your toes under, hips go up to the sky. We're back in that downward facing dog. Ease your weight back onto your heels. Maybe your legs are a little bit straighter this time. If not, that's okay too. Ease your weight back, pedal it out if you want to. One more breath. And then as you exhale, step those feet back up to the top. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Pulling the navel up and in. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, soften the knees, hands come down. This time my feet are going back into a plank. Again, if you're not for plank position yet, if your plank is not ready, you put those knees down right away. Settle in the plank, you're rolling the shoulders down and back, drawing the navel up and in, long through the lower back. And here's those push-ups. Breathe and press. Breathe and press. Two more. And then the last one, we're going to come up into downward facing dog. Hips go all the way up to the sky. Ease the weight back onto those heels. We're going to add a little lunge here. So first, bring your right leg up behind you. Get that leg nice and long. Don't turn your shoulders out. Keep the shoulders square. And then as you exhale, bring that knee underneath you and all the way in between those hands. Find your low lunge. It might take you an extra step or two. That's okay. Press back to that back heel and forward through the front knee. This is a good spot to use blocks if you need a little bit of length. Okay, so long from your head to your hips, pressing back through that back heel, forward through the front knee. And then we're just going to lift and lower through that front knee. So just lift and lower. Lift and lower. So I'm getting a little more juice in the knee joint. Back knee is staying straight and long. And one more like that. Then come down, stay in that bent knee position. We're going to come up to our crescent pose. So put your weight in that front heel. Breathe, exhale, come up, bringing the arms up. So don't crane your lower back here, nice and long through the lower back. Bottom of the spine is easing down towards the mat. Front knee is bent. And then bring the hands back down to the floor or to those blocks. And then we're going to come up to the top of the mat. Breathe and reach those hands all the way up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Nice and long through the spine. Inhale, bring it into a flat back. Exhale, soften these hands. Come down, feet or knees come back behind you. Squeeze those inner thighs together. This time we're coming all the way down to the floor. So shift slightly forward, bend the elbows. Bring yourself all the way down to the floor. Flatten the tops of your feet down to the ground. Ease your hips down. Breathe in and ease your head forward and extend that spine while you're pressing back through your toes. A little mini cobra, and then come back down towards the earth. Breathe in as you extend your spine, shoulders towards your pockets, crown of the head easing away, tummy pulling away from the earth. Exhale on your way down. So remember, we want to keep the abdominal muscles pulled in and up. And then if you want to challenge your lower back, you lift the hands as you extend that spine. And if that is not comfortable for you, keep the support of your hands down on the mat. And come down one more time, nice and easy. Stretch through that spine, it should feel good. And coming down, we're gonna go all the way to downward facing dog. So you can come up as a plank or to your knees, breathe. Exhale, come up. Ease yourself back into that downward facing dog. Ease your weight back into those heels. Now we're a little bit warmer. We might have a little bit straighter legs. That's all cool. One more breath here, and then we're lifting the left leg. So left leg comes up behind you. Nice and long through that leg. Do not turn your shoulders. Keep them square. Then exhale to bring the knee underneath you. Bring it forward here. And we're back in this bent knee position. Use the blocks if you need to, because we don't want to hunch over our leg. We want a nice long spine here. Press back to that back heel, forward through the front knee. Shoulders towards the pockets, neck nice and long. Breathe. And then exhale and just start lifting up and straightening that front knee. And then back down. Nice and easy. Should feel good on the hamstring, back of that front thigh. Sort of juicing up that knee a little bit. And last one. And then we're going to come up into that crescent pose. So all the weight's in the front heel. Take a breath as you exhale. Lift those hands nice and strong through that front leg. Ease the bottom of the spine towards the floor. Don't crane your back. Take a breath. Press back through that back heel. Nice and long through that back leg. Breathe. Exhale. Come back down. And then all the way to the top of the mat. Breathe and reach up. Exhale. Fold all the way down. Breathe into a flat back. Exhale, soften the knees. Hands come down, feet or knees come down. And this time we're going to ease ourselves into upward facing dog. So bending the elbows, breathe in. As you exhale, turn your feet over and lift and open your chest to the front. Thighs are lifted off the mat. Nice and long through the spine. Belly is still pulling in. Don't drop your belly. Pull it up and in. Shoulders down and back. Exhale to turn the feet over. Downward facing dog. Ease your way back onto those feet. And breathe. And we're going to move on now into our warrior flow. So I want you to lift the left leg. Bring it forward underneath you. Set it down. And then turn your body so that your feet are wide and you're facing me or the back of the ring. If you don't want to face me, that's also fine. Okay, so now we're in this sort of straddle position. Toes are pointed forward. Take a breath. As you exhale, ease yourself closer to the earth. Breathe and come all the way up to stand. I'm going to have you turn your front leg, whichever one is towards the front of your mat, towards the front of that mat. And I'm going to have you turn the back foot slightly. So we've got this body forward, front leg to the front, hip turn that way. Knee is going to be tracking the toe here. It's going to bend down and up. Let's do just that much. So body stays nice and tall. Zip up through the core muscles, long through the spine, and we just bend and straighten that knee. So while we're in these warrior poses, that back foot stays all the way down, back leg stays straight, and weight is just going in between both feet with this knee tracking our toes. We don't want it to collapse inward, so just double check that. If you're really struggling here, adjust the angle of your foot from your hip joint, because that's where the issue probably is. It's probably a tightness in the hip that can create that inward collapse of the knee. And we're just going to add arms. So reach up, exhale down. Moving in and out of warrior two. Drawing the navel up and in. Body's like an elevator here, so you're not squatting. You're not sticking your butt behind you. You're keeping everything in your torso all in line. Breathe. One more time, I'm going to leave you in Warrior Two for a moment, just for a moment. Stay in Warrior Two. Really find it. Press out through those fingertips, shoulders down and back. Belly pulls up and in. Gaze over the front hand and reach that hand. Energy through those fingertips. And then I'm going to have you shift your body, your shoulder towards that front hand, and then reach that front hand up, and we're in reverse. So pull the belly up and in. Think length through your sides. Come back to Warrior Two, so straighten out that torso. Then reach the hand forward, and then exhale and reach up into reverse. Back into Warrior Two, breathe. And reach, exhale, and Warrior Two. Look up if you have the space for it. Go back into Warrior Two, straighten out that body. Breathe and straighten out the front leg. We're going to go into triangle here. So feet might have to go a little bit closer to each other. But in this one, the hips are going to move side to side, not back to front. Keep that in mind. And let's start there. Put your hands on your hips. Ease the hips back as the torso tips forward. I'm not going to collapse into my side. Both sides remain long. Belly stays pulled up and in. So it's just this. It's hinging from the hips here. Lengthen the body, lengthen the legs. Do not lock out your knees or just come straight. Okay, and then when you're ready, add your arms. So balancers on your arms. And then I'm going to have you stay with that reach forward here. And then you're going to just ease yourself into a triangle. Now my triangle doesn't go super deep because I've got some tightness here underneath my thigh and I'm not going to force it. What we don't want to do is collapse into our side. Both sides remain long, chest is open. You're in between two panes of glass. Breathe. Shoulder over shoulder, hip in line with hip. Then I'm going to have you bend and straighten that front knee again. So bend and straighten. Keeping both sides of the body long. Find a pattern that works for you. And then I'm going to have you stay in that bent knee position. Make sure that your knee is still tracking your foot, shoulder over shoulder. And if you want to, you can just put your forearm on that front leg and reach up and over with the top arm. Make sure you don't collapse into that shoulder. Make sure belly is still pulling away from the legs. We're in extended side angle. And then I'm going to have you come back up in a triangle. Make sure both sides of the body are long. And then come back up to stand. How we do. Okay, turn both feet forward towards me. Fold from the hips. Back is nice and long. Press back through your hips and forward through your head. Bring the hands closer to the earth without collapsing your shoulders. Keep your shoulders down and back. Great spot for blocks. Put the blocks right here just for a little bit of support. Shoulders down and back. Breathe for a moment. And then we're going to stand all the way up. You remember what we did? Let's see if I do. Back foot goes toward the back of the mat. Front foot turns slightly. So when we turn that front foot, it's from the hip joint. The hips are in line with each other. Body nice and long. Zip up that front body, lengthen that back body. We'll practice just bending with the back knee now. So just bend and straighten. Back foot. Sorry, now it's the front foot. Front foot is all four corners down on the mat. Back foot, all four corners down on the mat. Check that your knee is following your toes. So we're opening the hips a little bit. Body stays nice and long and tall. Just kind of ease ourselves into it. And then when we're ready, we start adding arms. Easing in and out of Warrior Two. Think long and strong through those arms. Exhale as you bend your knee. Inhale to reach up toward the sky. Exhale to bend that knee. Inhale to reach up. And then we're going to stay in warrior two. Reach those arms out. Think energy through those arms, energy through the fingertips, gaze over the back hand. You're in warrior two. We're going to hang out here for just a moment. Start to find the heat in the thighs, but also find the length and the drawing up of the belly for that strength. Easing now into your reverse. Somebody's grabbing your hand. You reach that hand forward, and then you say, oh, never mind. I'm going to reach the arm up. Coming back to warrior two. Reach that front arm forward like you're holding out your hand, and then, oh, never mind. I'm going to reach toward the sky. Lengthen out that side body. And back to warrior two. And reach. And lengthen. Oh, so nice. And then back to warrior two. Gaze over that back hand. And then start to straighten that leg. How are your legs doing? Going into triangle, you might need a little less space in between the feet, but we've still got the back foot turned out and the front foot turned slightly inward. Now we're going to practice just hinging from the hips, okay? So hands on the hips, hinge from the hips, both sides stay nice and long, and then bring the hips back. Torso stays long, ribs stay long, body stays in line. So we still got this straight line from head to tailbone. We're not sitting back, drawing the navel up and in. And then when we're ready, we just add the arms. So reach that front arm, both sides nice and long. Think of how you can be core-centric here. Breathe, exhale. From the center of your body, you can really find that gravity point. And reach, and exhale. Okay, now I'm going to lead you in the reach. Reach, reach, reach. The hips are going back this way, not back behind you like a squat. Lengthening both legs, but not locking them out. And then ease yourself into that triangle. And I have to breathe a couple of times in my triangle just to try to ease up that tightness in the inner thigh into the hips here. So I'll give you that moment too. And then we're going to bend and lengthen the knee. So bend and straighten. Nothing else is changing yet. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. And stay bent. Okay, find that nice long angle here, or put the forearm on the thigh, but don't collapse into your shoulder. Stay lifted. And then if you want to, reach that top arm up nice and long. All four corners of both feet are down. Back leg is nice and strong and long. Both sides of the torso are also long. Breathing into that. Then I'm going to have you straighten back up into your triangle for just a moment. And then come all the way up. And then bring your hands to your heart center. Bring your feet in closer. Turn your toes out slightly. Take a breath. I'm going to bend the knees. I want you to keep the heels on the floor. Okay? Bend the knees. Keep the heels on the floor. Try to get your tailbone down towards the center of the earth. Now for me, when I do this, I want to put my arms on the insides of my knees so I can ease outward and get more stretch in that inner thigh that I so need, but without collapsing in my shoulder. So up through the back top of the head, shoulder blades ease toward my pockets, tailbone is easing down towards the floor. And we take a couple of breaths here. I'm going to have you ease to a seated position from wherever you are and however you need to get there. So use your blocks if you need to. Grab a pillow or sit on something also if you need to. I'm going to adjust Instagram so you can see me on the floor a little bit easier. Here we go. Okay, so comfortable seated position on the floor. I'm going to flex my feet underneath my knees, roll the shoulders down and back, zip up from the floor to the sternum, shoulders, resting down the spine, press up through the back top of the head, breathe. Exhale. Breathe and draw the navel up and in. Exhale, keep the engagement there. And let's do some hip and back stretches. So from here, let's start with our spine. Spinal extension We're going to allow the spine to extend and reach the heart center up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, I want you to round your spine, tuck your tailbone, draw the belly up and in, allow the shoulders to round, and you're imagining space in between every vertebra behind your back. So exhale. On your inhale, we lengthen and extend through the spine, easing the heart up toward the sky. Do not crunch into that lower back. Think lift out of it. And then on your exhale, pull the navel up and in as you tuck the tailbone under. Get some extra space for every single vertebra. We're going to do it one more time. On your inhale, heart comes up toward the sky. Lift out of your pelvis, lift out of your lower back. And then as you exhale, tuck and roll. Okay, now I'm going to have you leave one leg down on the floor with the knee pointed forward, and I want you to take the other leg and cross it. Make sure that both sits bones are still down. Back of your head is nice and tall. If you're struggling here, go ahead and sit on something. You can put some blocks under your hips, or you can sit on some pillows. If this is enough of a stretch and you're already feeling it here in your IT band, just stay there. If you want to move into a deeper stretch, you're going to take knee over knee here. So knee over knee, try to get them centered up. Feet are out, pointed outward. Back is still nice and tall. If this is enough of a stretch for you, stay here today. Breathe. And then if you want more of a stretch for that outer IT band of the top leg, exhale and fold from your hips. Don't collapse. Exhale and fold from your hips, keeping your spine nice and long. Pressing up through the back top of your head and down through the base of your spine. Breathe into it a couple of times. Try to loosen up that tissue on that band that connects your glutes to your hamstrings. That's our point here. And then come on up. How we do? Let's see how the other side does. Sometimes one side's very different from the other, so we respect that. Putting the other leg down, the knee pointed forward, and then cross the opposite leg. Make sure that both sits bones are all the way down. Spine can remain nice and tall. And then if you're ready to, put knee over knee. Feet pointed outward, body is still nice and tall. Both sits bones are still down. Press up through the back top of your head. You can stay here, or you can ease into a forward fold from the hips, which means we're not collapsing. We're easing the hips back, the head forward, and the spine nice and long and straight-ish. In other words, neutral spine. Don't try to turn your spine into a stick. It's not a stick. Breathe. Exhale. Breathe. And exhale. And come on up. One more thing. Let's do our inner thigh stretch. So sit with your feet, soles touching each other. Open the knees as much as they're willing to today. Very telling for me when I struggle here. I can feel it. My inner thighs have been super tight this week. Just sort of easing them nice and open. Nice and tall through the back top of the head. Grab your shins, your ankles, or your toes, but with a nice straight spine. As you exhale, I just want you to bend your elbows, keeping the spine nice and long and straight. And if you want to grab farther, you can, but again, I don't want you collapsing over it. I want the navel pulling up and away, spine nice and long, energy through the crown of your head and through the root of your spine. Breathe into that. Allow the hips to open. And if you're feeling it, and if you're forward, grab your feet, open them slightly. See if that gives you a little more opening. You want to rub your feet while you're here, you can. It's also kind of nice. Take one more breath here. And then sit all the way up. Now you can stay in a seated position, or if you would like to, you can lie on your back for a moment. We're just going to seal our practice with a couple of breaths. So palms up toward the sky, shoulders down and back. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. If not, just sort of remain with them open, but not really looking around. Just kind of gaze. Wherever you are is where you're supposed to be. Take a breath into your lungs. Exhale. Put your mind's eye in the area that's right underneath your sternum. It's your solar plexus. Put your mind's eye to go there. We're going to release the pressure and stress from your solar plexus. Breathe into your lungs. Exhale. And one more time, breathe. And exhale. Stay here as long as you like. If you're looking for more classwork, I am moving my class platform, FYI, within the next couple of days. And I will put an announcement out about how to get into my regular classes. So far, we have about 90 classes that you can join. There are all kinds of different practices, not just yoga. There's also Pilates and strength training. And I'll be adding more, but on a new platform connected to my website, CarryFit. So stay tuned. Listen for announcements. I will put that link up as soon as I've moved over. And have a lovely rest of your day. Namaste.